Hello, beautiful people. Today we are continuing the Eclipse series. We have to cover Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter today. So then I can finalize everything tomorrow with just the solar eclipse. But before we get into the energy of these planets, let's remember that we talked about Chiron yesterday, and it is in the same degrees as the sun and the moon. That will be happening on Saturday. So that same message resonates throughout. So if you haven't watched that, go back, watch that, and then come here. And when you come back here, don't be coming back here scared, okay? For a minute, we need to go a little bit more into that last message because in my comments, I'm seeing a little bit of fear and in some of my other comments from my other videos, and I need us to all be on some sort of same page here. Why do you think it is that you're more afraid of what's behind your own eyes or what's in your own mind than of anything else? Why do you think they don't want you to explore in that direction? The programming that they have kept us in leads us to a feeling of being disempowered in our everyday lives. And that is the mainframe that has broken. And I have so much more to say about that. It'll be in the ET series. Being in the matrix, being in their programming is literally, they have programmed you to affix your mind in such a way that they don't have to do any work anymore. Okay. This is a really hard message because fear on the other side of it is what we're battling. It's not the actual concepts. And if you don't approach it right, you could lead yourself into a lot of chaos. And that's not what we want. Okay. So to give you an example, the fear of having to pay your bills. And I can feel the collective eye roll. So let me just start here. So the concept of debt, the concept of if I don't pay my bills, I will be homeless is how they keep you as a robot. I have to get this certain type of job. I have to make all of these moves. If I don't make all of these moves, then X will happen is a literal spell. Through me, a lot of financial turmoil in my life prior to where I am now. There were so many times that I was affixed to these ideas of what I had to do based on what everyone else was telling me, based on whatever false beliefs I came in with, based on what I thought my results were, okay? Before anything in my reality shifted, my mind had to shift. And we literally latch on to definitions and they keep us in loops that are like spells that we can't get out of, that we cast on ourselves. So if you think that if you don't do X, Y will happen, you have created a mathematical equation and you have come up with the total sum. And now you are existing within this mathematical equation that you have created for yourself. You didn't know you could come back and change all the numbers, but you can. And agitation and shock will put you in the positions, question these reality. And if you can try and keep yourself from affixing to the idea of that you are a victim or affixing to the idea that you have to take that energy and now push it back out in a hostile manner, and you can say the bravest sentence I'm going to tell you to say right now. Instead, you're going to say, why is this the best thing that ever happened to me? And you're going to allow new definitions form that are going to allow you to adjust the storyline to make yourself the main character. And from there, you implant yourself. You have a better way of determining which way to go. It's almost like terrible things happen in your life. Think of it like a chess game. And consider how your moves can help you conquer to get to the next thing. Sometimes chaos comes before good things come. I've literally been kicked out of places and I have landed so soft and I don't know how, besides the fact that by the time that I reached my peak in my experience, I was too exhausted to carry on. And in my surrendering of the exhaustion, the world kind of carried me and led me to the next thing. This eclipse is telling us you have a divine opportunity. You have a giant surge of energy coming towards you. Pluto is going to tell you that you got some transformative energy coming in. Define it properly. Neptune is going to tell you, I know your deep desires. I know what you love. I know what you came here to do. Okay. I'm gestating on your dreams. I'm birthing your new reality. And then Uranus and Jupiter are coming in to expand it and change it, and expand it and change it. Saturn, I'm not going to really touch on today, but it's sitting with Mars today, meaning there is some passion about this thing that you are trying to build. And many of us are at different stages of this game. Some of us are at different building stages. Some of us are at the beginning, dreaming of something. Other of us have built the blueprint and have started working on it. And some of us have built the empire and are cleaning it up. So where you are in this process is where you are supposed to be, or you wouldn't be there. And if you can stop in your present moment and find the expanse in this space, you will see how much lush opportunity is on the field, and what's for you really can't miss you. It waits for you. It's in there. It's like a pool of infinite possibility. And I think I'm going to talk about that when I talk about Neptune. I'm going to talk about the pool of infinite possibility so that you can understand what you're working with when you leave that reality. Okay. Now that I talked your ears off about that, first we're going to go back to Pluto. Pluto is in Aquarius. Aquarius is our water bearer. Water bearer means that you take the information from the skies and you pour it down onto civilization. Pluto, the planet of death, the planet of transformation, the planet of turning you into the goo before it turns you into the butterfly, is literally the information of Pluto about transformation is being poured to you. And you telling me you don't see it in your reality? You just have to go through TikTok all day. And what are those things? All of that electrical current coming to you, all of that information entering your field is supposed to make you feel a type of way. You might be agitated. You might feel overwhelmed, despair. Okay. The information that is coming in is there to transform you. It's there to show you all of the players on the board. Not that you can cower and cry in a corner. Not that you can stay at home that day and miss out on this reality. You came here to be here, okay? It's so that you can see all the places on the board and from your empowered place start knocking those motherfuckers off, okay? It's for you to see things clearly and awaken. Setting an initiative is awakening yourself, making a plan based on the information from a neutral stance, okay? Saying, I see how this is the reality that we are faced with. This isn't my preferred reality. I'm going to build my preferred reality. I see that this is the music industry that I am faced with. This isn't my preferred reality. I'm going to focus my direction on the music and the things that I'm going to bring the shit into the reality that I think is going to help humanity, that I think is authentic. These are all of the players on the board. And they're saying, this is who we are. Not to punish you, not to shock you, not to say that everything in our lives was a lie, but to allow you to face it so that you can know the proper moves to make. If no one told you were going down the wrong road, how would you know? You just be meandering down over here. No, this is where we are, but we got ourselves here. It takes the language in here to move it. Okay. And it's just learning how to speak to the self, learning how to utilize your language, your thoughts to cast literal spells. It's literal spells. And this isn't from some witchy shit. This is literally like, I can't stand Mondays. You are saying something that is defining Monday. No, what you can't stand is the sensation that you get when you have to go to a job that feels unfulfilling. Go there. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Now, Pluto has been sending messages to us since it went direct, okay? Since around January. And it's going to be in this degree. It's going to come a little bit back to Capricorn, and then it's going to come back to this degree for the rest of the year. So we've got a lot of times with this fixed energy that's here, and I'm going to read you what that energy stands for. Now, the I Ching is literally connected to the yin yang and to quarks, tachyons, and all those things. I'll tell you more about that later. So if you consider when you hit these points in astrology as just a flavor of energy coming into your awareness, instead of it being anything else, if you just think of it as energy moving in a certain direction, you won't look at that energy and say, oh my God, it's so scary. It's so terrible. It's so bad. You can say, oh, that energy is moving like that. What can I do with this potential energy that's moving like that? Let me take it and build brand. Let me take it and come up with what my new desires is and use this energy in whatever direction that serves me. Let's read this. Limits and connections is I Ching 60. Okay. Limits are necessary to channel energy. guide purpose, and lend directions to life. Constantly swimming in a sea of boundless opportunity leads to exhaustion. Winging it alone, wild and free in a sky of unlimited directions and opportunities only lead to becoming lost. In human affairs, the making of decisions and alliances necessarily implies limitation. For in choosing one path, another must be left behind. You see how we define our reality? A key to a successful life is to select your limits consciously and carefully, to be discriminating in the setting of personal boundaries, but also knowing when to fly in formation. Just as thrift often precedes prosperity, letting go of selfish interests leads to greater personal reward. Only by consciously accepting useful limits can your energy be channeled to good purpose and lead to lasting accomplishment. Aim for a middle way between discipline and freedom of spirit. Limits will come of their own accord, but to consciously make good decisions and select compatible affiliations, now that's knowing how to fly. On the other hand, do not go overboard on discipline. Even limitations must be limited in the effort to bring order and direction into your life, to avoid choking off vital sources of enthusiasm and spontaneity. In groups and organizations, rules and regulations should strike a balance between too strict and too lenient. If these guidelines are too difficult to live with, frustrations will build and ultimately become destructive. If the rules are too soft, sloppiness will become acceptable and energy will dissipate. The best path is one that allows for the unfolding of individual potential while encouraging self-discipline and focus along the way. There's an understanding here that when you get to, and Bashar talks about this a lot, okay? And if you think about the fractals again, it's like every leaf on the tree ain't supposed to grow all the way. Sometimes you got to know that there's an end to this and you're supposed to stop at the boundary, turn right. It's a new direction that you're supposed to go in. Where are you limiting yourself? Where are you holding back from your potential? And where are you not being authentic enough and honest with yourself enough of where you need to actually pull in, right? Where is your discipline versus where is your structure? And how are you managing these two things? Where is your holy balance for a good life? That's a really important energy, because I think even in the world, what we are seeing is that we've allowed, for our food in America, for example, you know, we've all been reading everything about food labels. We know everything about this portion of the industry, and that is not to be trusted. And they have decided to create laws that are so lenient in one direction, and then so constrictive in the weirdest places, right? Where, like, you know, the chickens are kept into like tiny little space to be miserable, but they'll just give anybody chickens. Everybody can have 10,000 chickens, right? It's like these, where they have decided to pull in and where they have decided to just let things run free, they ain't balanced. And we're frustrated by it. And those systems will break down, okay? They just will. They will entropy. They can't exist if they're not moving naturally with the flow of nature. You notice that with the flow of nature, some things die and some things live. Sometimes lightning strikes and a tree falls down, and then bugs move in and mushrooms move in, and that's what was supposed to be there. Finding your holy balance between holding on to something and learning to exist freely. That's really what we're talking about here. So if you could think of it as having like a few different versions of reality, and you have Pluto over here saying, now don't go to Neptune, this dark space, for too long, because you're meant to be in 3D reality. And then don't be staying in 3D reality too long. You're meant to be in this dark space. You're going to have to find your balance between your spiritual side and your mammalian side, your wound of humanity and what you came here to do, your fears and where you allow them to limit you, and where sometimes a fear is enough to keep you doing things in the right order, right? You pay your bills so you don't get kicked out. Some of these things, we have to find our balance. But if you're paying all your bills and you can't eat, baby, you doing too much over here. You need to eat, okay? You got to think of the self. Where are we balancing this? Okay, we're going to talk about Neptune next. No, we're not. We got to go onto the gene keys of limits and connections, because I need you to know how to transcend this. When I show you the gene keys and the words say to initiate and to awaken with this concept of discomfort, I'm telling you, you have 3 choices, okay? You can either choose to live in the discomfort of this energy, or you can initiate the action that is causing you to feel the discomfort and awaken. You don't have to stay here. So look at the gift and find out how you get there. Choose to see the shadow, not as a bad thing, that you're a bad person, that you did the wrong thing, as an easy way to know that you are out of your core resonance so that you can get back. Thank you, shadow. Thank you for allowing me to know I feel agitated. Now I know I need to initiate. Show me what it is that I have to. It's that simple. You have that much power. Okay? So the shadow of this gene key is limitation. The gift is realism, and the CD is justice. Okay? You're going to feel this. If you feel this sensation, this is how you know you've got the cracking of the vessel. This is how you know something's happening. That's what I'm telling you. When you feel off, get a little excited because you know you can feel on. I'm out of my core resonance. Something about my soul isn't aligning with me, and this feeling is allowing me to see that so that I can change whatever definitions I have placed here to allow me to feel that way. Okay, I'll be trying to tell y'all. So, shadow is you're either completely too rigid or you are a hot ass mess. Okay, and how are we going to fix that? You need to know the laws of the universe. If you know the laws of the universe, you know the definitions of what you actually fit into, and you can fucking leave the rest. Okay? That sounds wild, but that's the download I'm getting, and that's what I'm telling you. The only thing that matters are the laws of the universe. Everything else is up for interpretation. How do you know? Because if you left America right now, the rules that you had in America, they don't apply in other countries. The rules you have in other countries don't apply in America. The money in your wallet don't get you far here, but it might take you real far on Bali. So the rules of these games, they shift based on where you are. Some rules don't change no matter where you are, okay? Energy cannot be destroyed. That doesn't change. No matter where you live in the universe, that shit's not changing. What are the laws that you do need to ascribe by, even in just your life, that keep you feeling safe, whole, able to move forward? And where have you decided that where are you too pent in? Where's fear leading the conversation? Okay? Find your sense of magic in the universe is what we're telling you. Everything I'm seeing about the eclipse is either telling you to be scared or get over your fears. I'm telling you to get over your fears. When you do this, when you recognize that don't matter where you go, these laws work, and where you go, these laws don't work, you have a sense of justice. No one rules you. No one owns you. Only you are in charge of yourself. You define your reality. And the shit that you think are punishments in this world are sometimes the best fucking blessings you ever had. That's why if you change your definitions of what you think is good and you say, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, you start moving in a way where you're looking for opportunities, not for reasons of why you failed. And that is where I will leave Pluto, death, transformation, Aquarius. I lost my seat on the other side because of the dogs. So let me just move over here. Okay, so let's talk about Neptune and
pretty cool
Pisces.
is that Neptune and Venus are sitting neck and neck today, talking to each other.
And there could be no better place for Neptune, Venus to be in Pisces. It's like home, okay? Last time I did the eclipse report for Libra, I talked about now Pisces being the womb. And I think that's the best way to think about the sign. And what happens in this water womb is gestation, new growth, okay? This is where Saturn is. So imagine you're growing a new being. It could be a new version of yourself. It could be a new version of your dreams. It could be an upgrade. It could be something new. This new desire is now manifesting in your womb. And Neptune is considered the deepest part of the ocean, okay? And if you think of the deepest part of the ocean as being like the deepest part of outer space, as being outside is inside, it's that desire place again. It's that infinite pool of reality that is boundless and holds your potential. And I want to talk about this for a second because I've been trying to figure out a way to bring this up, and I think this is the time. So when you hear Abraham Hicks talking about getting into the vortex, okay, or when you hear Bashar talking about following your highest excitement, they are talking about this no space that you get to when you are not focused on outside reality. Now, there are many ways to get here. You can do it through meditation. You can do it through dance or trance. You can do it through mantras. You can do it through nature walks. There are many ways to get to the same road of stillness. And what they are telling you and what I have experienced and is true for me, and I would not be doing this if I have not been there, is it's literally this magnet place where this deep, dark, I'm calling it dark, even though there is no color to it, okay? One really good way to put it is from Jane, the first channeler, is the expansive present moment. And there's this place where you slow down your generator, literally in your body. When you think the reason you can't meditate sometimes is that everything feels like it's moving too much, think about slowing down your motor. And when you do this, we talked about how the toroidal field goes out or it goes in. It can't do both at the same time. You stop focusing on projecting out and you open up to receive. And this is the place where all the ideas are. This is the place that you go to, and then you start downloading and writing these storylines of your greatest visions. This is where all those ideas come from. This is Neptune to me, okay? It's that space. To have Venus there, it's like looking at what you love about your deepest desires, the thing that you want the most. Again, I'm telling you, Chiron is saying this womb that you have, it's all based on something you really want. And when you can slow down and stop trying so hard to get there, and to realize that you are already there because everything is here at once, and you can go into this field of limitless, you'll never run out of ideas. You'll never run out of ideas. And you will live from a place of so much less effort. It's not where you're supposed to be putting your effort. Now, when you go here, you bring in a portion of that rigidity by being honest with following through with your authentic integrity and following the steps to bring the download to 3D reality. But there's a place of openness that is required for you to get to that space. That's why I create the Preserve and Protect Your Energy course. You can find it for $70. If you don't want to invest $70 right now, for $7, it's the chakra course. Learning how to tune up your field will get you there faster. And it's another way, if you have a problem meditating, you will feel the zone I'm talking about. Okay. Now let's look at the I Ching of Neptune. Okay. And I want to make sure that we're all up to speed on this connection of messaging. These are the symbols that we have to better understand this eclipse. So first over here, we know that there's going to be agitation. That if we feel that agitation, then we're going to take initiation that leads to awakening. That is going to relieve that tension. Okay? Remember that. Then we have this energy of just limitless, and then this connection that leads to bounteousness. Okay? But like, you have to know where to find your balance. So this is saying you might feel agitated. Find some balance. Find your balance. And now we have another message from Neptune, and it's I Ching 36, darkening of the light. Let's read it. When the light goes down, it may be wise to become invisible. Imagine fresh darkness, the period just after sunset, or after a fire has gone out. There is still much activity left over from the light of the day, and movement in the outer world are at the most dangerous. Even the smallest sound, the faintest glow of light, can attract unwanted attention now. When the darkness of stupidity reigns in human affairs, it is best to keep your brilliance hidden under a bushel basket. Let your thoughts and efforts be quiet, self-contained, and protected as much as possible from harmful influences. Don't let yourself be swept along on the current of conventional wisdom when too much dangerous uncertainties exist. Try not to become too depressed or too anxious. This period too shall pass. Just endure it for now and preserve your self-confidence while remaining cooperative and flexible. Cooperative and flexible. The time to assert yourself will come. Avoid looking too far ahead if you have not yet achieved your goals. That will only stimulate feelings of regret or longing, eating away at your inner strength. Now is the time to be cautious and reserved. Control yourself. Do not needlessly stimulate forces of opposition during dark, unsettling periods. It is best to step gingerly around the sleeping dogs. Okay, we have to go more into this message. Well, okay, so the gene keys for this is the shadow is turbulence, the gift is humanity, and the siddhi is compassion. So 36 Shadows is all about the dark night of the soul and how turbulence comes from this concept that we are all going through an emotional time right now, and that is kind of the energy that we're putting out into the world, and it's manifesting in real life in front of us. And right now, with all of the spiciness, there's a space for you to go in and feel and not necessarily be ready to project out. If we are dealing with something as important as our deepest wound, there will probably be a dark night of the soul. Now, if you've never had a dark night of the soul, you get them more than once. I don't know why people always say like there's one thing. I have a really great post on here about how to get through an emotional crisis. And I'm going to tell you a story that I think is going to help you get through it. Because this to me is potentially manufactured fear from our world. And they want you to react. They want you to fall in line. And instead, you have to learn to listen to hear of how you really feel, find your own authenticity, and have compassion for someone who is trying to hold control and it's slipping from their fingertips. Oh, how terrible it must feel for you that you have to go through such lengths to get my attention. How terrible it must be for you if you have to sacrifice this much of yourself for my attention, my version of currency. That is a really deep message for right now. And I think that seeing all of this play out IRL has to at some point lead for a level of compassion and humanity at the lengths that people will go to create an illusion to make you feel like you have to give them energy. The lengths that someone will go through to entertain you on television. The lengths that someone will go through to make you believe in gangster rap. The lengths that someone will go through to get you to paying all of these bills. The lengths that they will go through. Are you gonna live, buddy? The lengths that people will go through to be not even really famous. If this is what fame is, this isn't what they wanted, really. So look at the world with open eyes based on how far you are willing to sacrifice for someone else's dream and how far someone is willing to sacrifice for yours. Okay? And where we may have put our energy and our wants and our desires within an illusion, and it's time to wake up. And that wasn't my story. It was going to be about a boat, but that sounds better than the other part. Let's talk about Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. Jupiter and Uranus have been in Taurus forever as well. I feel like I've covered these planets so many times, but I'm going to cover them from this perspective. Taurus is Earth, okay? It's valuables, it's good. I'm going to tell you that Jupiter is changing your mind on, it's bringing this magnifying glass into what we find valuable in our society so that you can see it for what it really is. It's also expanding the concept of what we find valuable because we are finding more value in things that matter more to us as a society. Think about the people cooking now, making cereal, doing all of these things because they value their health or just they value what they listen to. They value what they're watching. They're starting to question these portions of the reality of where these tangible goods lie. Uranus is coming in to change all of it. It's bringing in new information. It's bringing in a new form. Uranus is connected to Prometheus, who brought fire to Earth. Do you know what fire did for Earth? Right. So imagine Uranus is in Taurus bringing a message to Earth, sitting next to the planet that's magnifying. What fire is it bringing into this area? What lightning strike is coming down? It's some of it is showing you what we found valuable was false. And some of it is changing what we find valuable, which could through seeing that, some of these jobs aren't really hiring and they don't really value the human being. This change is creating this cauldron of new concepts that, just like fire led to cooked food, could be the future of how we work in the world, could be the future of how we decide to exist as a society based on what we do and do not want, okay? So if you think about these two planets changing and making bigger and changing and making bigger, and even personally in my work, I have been changing it and growing it and changing it and growing it. When it stopped, I stopped. And when it went forward, I went forward. To be able to change and shift Earth sounds a lot like earthquakes, okay? Sounds a lot like tsunamis. Sounds a lot like foundations that were weak will crack and break, and things that are strong will last. Truth permeates all portions, cannot be broken. Everything else is up for grabs. Everything else is going to wither away. At some point, it just works like that. That's how life works. If it does not fit in to the organism, it does not fit into the organic components, it cannot exist forever. It just can't, okay? Remember that. Every time I read the I Ching, I be like, you be doing something, girl, because I literally open it up right here and then just read you what I read, and it's always so good, okay? I Ching 23, splitting apart. Things are not the way they seem. Reality appears to be a hall of mirrors. Intrigues are multiplying like summer flies, and there are rumors of discontent. It is the time of illusions, disintegration, distrust, and deception. When you find yourself trapped in a hall of mirrors, it becomes necessary to retrace your steps. Return to the familiar. Take solace in what is firm and secure. There is no blame in holding back. Indeed, it is your responsibility to keep your strength intact for the period of revival that follows the period of disintegration, as surely as dawn follows the night. Discretion is the better part of valor, and good timing is critical. Learn to choose the proper moments for action, thereby avoiding futile effort. Pay close attention to changes that signal a time to retreat. In the realm of personal relations, discovering illusions can be painful and confusing. During a period such as this, it is wise to avoid undertaking bold new moves. It is especially important not to jump to conclusions when you sense that nothing is quite as it seems. Okay? Who hasn't felt this energy? We've all felt this energy. The only difference is now, I think it's just going to be continue to crescendo to reach a point of activation so that more people are aware, so that we can continue to make the proper initiatives to move in the direction that we see fit. It's nothing here is telling us anything we don't already know. Okay, so we've got this splitting apart, this wall of illusions, talking to this turbulence, this concept of discomfort, turbulent energy merged with this energy of ripping something apart, on top of like this concept of just overall discomfort. And on top of those energies, while that lower dimensional density, that fidgetiness is happening, at any point you can decide to choose compassion. You can decide to choose to initiate and to awaken to these new realities and make bold steps in the direction of which you want the world to go. You can find justice in the fact that these systems are being exposed, or you can be rigid and scared and nervous and panicky while it's all happening. You have a choice throughout this entire thing on which reality you choose. And I have to tell you, based on the concept of collective realities, please choose the positive one so that we can all enjoy it together. Okay? The more of us that see these things, and instead of going towards despair, think of each of us having our own personal reality and contributing to the collective. What you contribute matters. And when more of us can collect on this peaceful world that we want, where the food is honest and the people ain't trying to sell us up a river or work us to death, when we could choose this wonderful oasis for ourselves, if more of us can put our energy there, we can create that reality. It can be done. I'm losing my voice if I keep going with this, but I only have the gene keys for 23 to finish out this puppy today, and tomorrow will not be as long because I got other things to do. We've got to get back to the Lyrans and the war. Okay, the Lyran war. It's all about complexity versus simplicity. And really you get to a place of quintessence. It's like you get to this glow. And really I'm telling you, okay, this is the big message.
All of these shadows of humanity are ready to be exposed. Rigidity, being dumb. And what do I mean when I say being dumb is like you have decided to be intolerant to any new information and you are standing firm irregardless of all the fucking facts on the ground, okay? We can't tolerate that in society. Being fragmented, being so far out that you don't make sense anymore. I'm starting to feel like I'm a little bit there after reading all of this shit. Being scared, being nervous, Nellies, being too without any form. All of these are just the shadows of the reality. It sounds a lot like the centaurs in this concept that the shadows of man, and Chiron is saying, look at these wounds. How can we see from a more neutral place? What do you have to give? Where is your compassion based on the wounds that you carry, that you've been through? How dare you know these wounds and call another out in a bad way? This is the message. It's asking us to look within ourselves. Go to that dark place and they're saying go to that dark place that's uncomfortable, okay? Go to the turbulence in that dark place. Go to the turbulence and pull out your nervousness and pull out the greed and pull out all of these parts of ourselves that are not necessary for where we are going. Transform that energy into something more positive. Transform that energy into something that is more tangible that we can all use. Because we can't do anything if you're nervous all the time. And we can't do anything if you can't make a schedule. And we can't do anything if your schedule is so tight that no one can fit in there. Okay? And we can't do anything if you're not willing to learn. And we can't do anything if you've learned so much you don't even know where your beliefs are now. We can't do anything if you're always in a crisis. And we can't do anything if you're scared to leave the house. Okay? So, I'm going to tell you the story about the boat. That's how I'll end this, because I think now is the time. Okay? So, my best friend got married, one of my friends, she got married in Croatia. And we were all at the wedding. It was fabulous. And she had family day where we all got on a boat and we went to explore some of the other islands. Great day. Drank, ate, married. On the way back from the boat, the water got seriously choppy and we had an hour to get from the islands that we were at. We were all sunned out, drunked out, having eaten too much on this boat heading back to the island. We got about an hour. And it is like, the boat is going like this, okay? Now, my husband hates vomit. Can't stand it. And all I can think to myself is, if he sees someone vomit, I'll never hear the end of it. Not for the end of it. I won't hear the end of it. He's Virgo. I won't hear the end of it tonight. Not in my reality. So, I used to dance, ballet, jazz, tap. And so, 20 some odd years, okay? I'm a graceful little thing. And I started moving at the center of the boat with the water, okay? And I'm talking about, I'm just rocking. I have someone turn the music up, and in the middle of the ocean, as I see people ready to hurl, I start dancing. And we shifted that energy around and everyone started dancing. And I'm telling you, when you're on a rocky fucking boat in the middle of the ocean or the sea, or whatever sea we were on, I'm not doing geography here, get up and start dancing and you don't know if it's your movements or the wave movements, but you're not gonna feel nauseous anymore. So I'm telling you that sometimes you move with the turbulence. When you resist, you get thrashed or it gets stuck in your body, okay? We're not having that. If you want something to do this weekend, dance, move your body, get you one of them vibration plates, hop on one of them, I got one of those too, and the things that you jump on, I got one of those too. Walk on something, get out in nature, allow this turbulent energy to help you rock with it. You're not going to move away from it, and when you rock with it, oh my gosh, it moves through you so beautifully. It swims through you. It doesn't have to get trapped up all in here. That's a false definition. All I have to talk about tomorrow is the sun and the moon, and then we have dates for looking forward. If you want an appointment, sign up on the website. I don't do next day appointments. I've got more to do than that. I've got to pull all your information. I write up a full report. I'm a lot more fancy. So if you want a session, the closest you can get is probably late next week. And lovely to see you. I would love to do one for you. They always do I Ching. They always have human design. They always have tarot. They always have your astrology. We're always looking at the next date. You leave with a notebook full of information, plus you get a report as I finalize everything. I go home, clean it up, send it to you so you have something to keep. Candace is out. I wish it was Wednesday. Bye.